I'm not gonna lie, my stomach is in my ass right now. I had got done finishing editing all my videos for day 3. I didn't have enough storage in my phone, so I went to go delete videos. But I deleted the footage from day 3. But I thought it would be okay because it was already done in iMovie and I can just export it. But when I went to go delete them, and not only did I delete them, I permanently delete them, I deleted the footage out of iMovie as well. So all that footage is gone. I'm gonna try to, I remember my day and how it went, but just the insight I had, I can't necessarily recreate that. So for day 3, I can just try to go through my day. So, that shit pisses me off. I was moving too fast. I even deleted videos from last night. I was just moving too fast, not really realizing what I'm doing because I was so focused on getting the space so I can export the video to my camera roll. I need to breathe. I really shot myself in the foot right there, didn't I? But it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I remember I have pretty good memory when I want to. So yesterday I had woke up feeling off, and I just wasn't, everything was just off. I didn't eat breakfast, but I did drink my hydrating drink. And I had, I went to go to the eye doctor because I had my appointment. And just during that time, inconveniences were like pronouncing themselves to me. And I was just finding myself hella irritated. I was speaking on how harmonizing it wasn't looking like the way I thought it normally did. How like it was more joyous than anything. I'm gonna go sit over there. How it wasn't like joyous and stuff, how like I normally see it, but I was saying harmony doesn't always look one way. It can look a number of different ways and go either way. What is something else I said? I'm so sick, y'all. Like that shit. Oh, that shit pisses me off. So I had went to the eye doctor and stuff. Oh, and another thing I had said was about the item that my cousin brought out here. It had some like spiritual stuff attached to it, so I was gonna cleanse my space. I said I was gonna do incense, but I ended up not doing them that day because I ended up stretching, and then I had a really good stretch, and I felt better after that stretch. I went to the eye doctor, came back, and was just getting annoyed. The helicopter, it was day 2 that it was out. I came back, and then I made a vlog expressing how I know the things to do to make me feel better, but I don't necessarily feel like doing them, and that was my dilemma there. And those things were, I needed to eat, so I had to cook for myself, but I didn't really feel like cooking while I was hungry because I was uncomfortable. And then doing the face mask and then going to the library, like I know those things, after completing them, I will feel better. So I was just talking through the motions of that and how kind of encouraging myself to do those things and talking myself through those things. I'm trying to recall what I had said. Damn, Lamaya. And I was observing, like, I was saying things like how today was Today was like a suggestion, like you could do this to make you feel better, or you could go this route, you could take this new path of doing things. And then 3 day was putting your conscious into your efforts, and now it's you. I refer to 2-day as like beginner's luck, and 3-day as this is all you. This is all your efforts. How are you going to manage this? How are you going to do this? Or you're presented with your old habits and your new habits now, instead of like a suggestion of how you could go. Now you're being shown like basically a crossroads. Which way do you want to go? Or a fork. Which way do you want to go about this? So I was dealing with that. I can't really remember everything I had said, but I do remember after I got done eating, I felt pretty good, and but I was still experiencing some irritation. Then I had a friend. I was talking with a friend, and they were asking me like, "How are you doing?" And then I kept it honest. I was like, "I think I'm gonna schedule a therapy appointment because there's some things that I need to admit, but I need an outside source." And then he asked if I don't mind sharing what's wrong, and playing as loud as it. He asked me what's wrong, and I shared that it was about my mom. One of the videos or the entries I did was super vulnerable, and I cannot recreate that, and I'm like pissed, but I can just recall what I had said. So during the time I was saying to my friend what was going on, it was about my mom, and how a couple weeks ago or a week and a half, I don't remember the exact time, we had talked. I was expressing to her that I had felt scared, I felt lost, I felt a bit directionless, and I just didn't really know where I was going with myself. And my mom had responded, I'm sorry to hear that, but I don't have any words for you. I don't really know what to say. It made me feel a type of way during that time, but I kind of suppressed it, and I didn't really speak on that to nobody. I just was like, okay, well, I got off the phone with her. I was like, well, that was all. I guess this is the end of the conversation. And during that time, I was crying, so it's like I felt a little weird, so I just got off the phone. And that was the last time I had spoke to her. But I felt like that was the seed or the root to a lot of my irritation. So I needed to go dig that up and address that. I needed to address those feelings. A series of events had happened that led me to get on here and talk about those series of events, and I'll talk about them in a second. And those were like examples of that 3 energy, that harmonizing energy. So right after I had expressed that to my friend, about what I'm going to do and how I'm feeling, I set down my phone and started to cry. And then immediately, like, my mom called me. Mind you, I hadn't talked to her. So I was like, oh, wow. And my first thought was to not talk. And in the video, I was expressing, like, I'm just tired of talking. I don't really want to talk. I don't have any words. So I didn't answer. And then earlier that day, I'm going to tie this full circle, I had another friend that invited me somewhere. But with this particular friend, it was I was in a similar standing with our dynamic, where it's like I don't really have any words. I don't really want to talk either, and I'm kind of tired of our dynamic, and I'm kind of like just not really happy with, how our friendship was going. And that was one thing I was emphasizing in the video that's deleted now, was I'm just tired of talking. And so my first thought was to not go, but I ended up kind of was giving in. I was like, okay, well, what time is it? But after I declined my mom's call, I ended up telling my friend, I don't think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to pass, but thank you for inviting me, because that was my initial first thought. So I'm acting on all my first thoughts. I might as well act on this situation as well. And then immediately after that situation, after I sent that message to the friend, my other friend sent me a playlist titled Healing, and was like, I found this in my archives. I think you would enjoy listening to this. And I was just like amazed at the series of events that were happening, because it was synchronized like that. And I told him, thank you for sending it. I was like, it's a lot of things that just happen in a short amount of time that are signaling that I need to release and heal. Thank you for sending. This was divine timing. And I was just amazed at that, and I was just kind of talking on that, those synchronicities that were happening. And I was just saying, like, this was a little vulnerable, but the ideal was to be raw and real. And I gave a disclaimer. I'm like, I'm sorry to those in my real life, because I'm speaking about people in my real life. If y'all watch this video, like, I'm sorry, but this is a self-discovery page, and I'm self-discovering. And that, the theme of that was the energy of 3. Another thing I had said, and then I had got back on here and kind of was talking to myself, but talking to the camera. I was feeling guilty after I didn't answer the phone, or after I declined the invite. I was feeling really guilty. So I kind of came on here, not kind of, but I came on here. It was like expressing my inner dialogue about how I'm tired of experiencing the same theme dressed in different situations with these people, with my mom and my friend, and expressing why I feel guilty, expressing the guilt I felt, but also talking to myself through it, saying it's nothing to be guilty about. Like, I'm going with my first thought, and it's okay to not feel like talking. It's okay to not feel like, I don't want to say being bothered with that, but just removing myself from these patterns, or not wanting to engage in similar patterns, and patterns that I know how they will go. What else did I say? And I just emphasize how that whole chain of events happened when I fed myself, when I did the hard thing, when I did the thing I didn't want to do, but I know that made me feel better. And it was just a boom, 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 boom. Harmony. I call that harmony. And then I got back on there. I said I was gonna go continue on my day. I said I was gonna do a face mask, but I ended up doing a face mask. I said I was gonna chill, but I looked at like my pores and stuff. I didn't like how it looked. Ended up doing a face mask, and I got back on here with the face mask on, saying like, it's crazy how letting go can make you feel, because I acknowledged those feelings, or I admitted my feelings, acknowledged them, gave what I needed to give to those feelings, and then I let it go, and then I felt better. Like, I got back on the camera, you could see and feel that I was in better spirits. And so I was just talking about my amazement with that realization, and I was like, that's the theme of the day, is like acknowledging and letting go, and healing and things like that. And then I was like, I'm gonna go look. I have something to look forward to. I'm gonna go continue to look forward to my day. I was gonna go skate with my friends, or with my crew, and my newly crew. And then I was just talking, I don't say hyping myself up, but just talking myself through those things about feeling guilty about going with my first mind, but at the same time trusting that my first mind is my better judgment, and my first mind is going along with what my true self wants, and not necessarily people pleasing, or doing things out of guilt, or like giving in. Also with a friend, I had expressed to my other friend I was talking to at the time about how I felt initially, that I don't feel like I would be going in good faith. So I declined, because I know how I really feel, and I didn't want to just go because this is a fun time and act like things weren't. I haven't felt how I've been feeling, and just sweep that all under the rug for the sake of having a good time. I didn't want to do that, so I did it. So I was just talking on those synchronicities, and then I went skating with my crew after that, and then I had came back and got on here to do the closing statements, and I was just like, what did I I say? I said I got home. I really deleted all these clips. Like that's all I keep thinking about. That's the first time I've done something like that. Hopefully it'll be the last. What did I say? I got on here talking about facing fears. Oh, that's what I said. I said I faced a lot of fears because I didn't have toe stops on my skates. Those are brakes for your skates, and we were going down hills. So they gave us the option to opt out of it, but I chose to face my fears that day. I chose to do it anyway, and I kept saying, like, during that time, all I kept thinking was like, okay, Lamaya, this is your moment. It's either now or never. Are you going to face your fears? Are you going to open up new possibilities by facing your fears? Or are you going to keep going on with the timeline you're already on, with the possibilities you already experienced? Are you going to open yourself up to new possibilities? Are you going to see what's on the other side of fear? And I did. I was very curious to that question. What's on the other side of fear? And I found that to be very harmonious, because after I did it very gracefully, effortlessly. Like, I did a good job at what I was scared to do. I didn't fall. I was able to control my body weight. I was able to control my breathing while I'm scared, because I tend to hold my breath, then clench up. Then that kind of leads me to stumble and fall. And mind you, I was going fast downhill with no brakes. So really seizing the moment, like taking inventory of how I'm feeling, and able to just in the moment of me being scared. It's like being on a roller coaster and trying to control your breath. Yeah. My stomach was in my ass, but I was able to not freak out. And then I also had spoke on, it was me and another new person. We were both two new people to the group. This other particular person was experiencing a lot of anxiety. I tend to turn into a chameleon when I am presented with energy that's more dominant than mine. At the time, my energy was real curious and explorative. This person's energy was real anxiety and real anxious. That energy was more dominant than mine. So sometimes I would find myself like, okay, yeah, let's not do it. Like, we don't have to do it. But then I would, like, in this instant, I'd be like, actually, if it's okay if you want to stay here, like, I would stay in, like, to keep her company. But then I would be like, hey, actually, I'm going to go try it out. I changed my mind. I'm going to go try it out. And they were just like, okay. But, like, in that moment, I chose to face my fear instead of, like, give in to that dominant energy that was present. And what else did I say? Words. When I would catch myself giving in, I would just give in the other way, basically. Like, I would catch myself and, like, no, actually, let's try something new. Yeah, yesterday was like really being presented with the fork. Do you want to go a new way that you've never went before to open up new possibilities? Or do you want to continue on the path you're already on? That was like a really big theme of yesterday. And even though it wasn't the harmonious I'm used to, where everything is just flowing and coming to me and I'm receiving gifts from people, or like I'm just attracting situations that kind of like gift me with stuff, I was able to explore a new path, and that is still harmonious. And so the themes were like, harmonious doesn't look one way, open up new paths for my, like, open up new pathway in my brain, like, quite literally, and that's going to reflect in my reality, because new situations will come to me. Not giving in to that anxious energy, and doing the hard thing, doing the harder choice, which is going with my first thought, going with what I really want to do, going with my true self wants to do, and not giving into what I think I should do. What else did I say as like the closing statements? I think that was really like it. Those were like the main points I touched on. It was just more so like that moment of rawness and realness that was present, that like I'm kind of fucked up behind because I can't recreate that. But yeah, that was my 3-day. I'm trying to think of anything else that happened. At the eye doctor, they told me I'm farsighted and nearsighted, so it cancels out each other. I thought that was pretty funny. They ordered me some new glasses. I found out I have astigmatism in my right eye. Oh, and mind you, I was going down all these skates high. Like, I smoked before we started on the trail. We did a trail from Rockridge BART to Berkeley. So we was going through, like, the Berkeley hills and stuff, and I smoked. So I was high. I had no brake stops, and I hadn't gone down hills with no brake stops before. And, like, just all this was, like, a brand new experience, and that can make somebody anxious. And I just chose to be curious and see where the other side of fear would take me. And yeah, just harmony vibes, right? A white butterfly, that always signifies something good. I guess like in the beginning of my day of yesterday, I woke up with anxious thoughts racing, and I didn't know what to do, so I just chose to breathe instead. And I thought that was a really good choice or like a new choice, because in the midst of that moment, I usually panic and kind of give in to that anxiety, because every time I would try to combat the negative thought with a positive one, another negative one would come. It was just like, and that went on for like a cool hour or two, where it's just like, it got exhausting. But in the morning, I think it was about an hour, or that process went on before I went to sleep. That previous night leading into that 3-day morning, it was still happening. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really feel like doing this again. That was exhausting, so I'm gonna just choose to breathe until I can go back to sleep. And it worked. I chose to just not really do anything with those thoughts, but just let them pass and breathe. So looking back on yesterday, if I'm looking through the lens of 3, it was pretty harmonious, and I can see consciousness being brought into my efforts and seeing what I do. It's taking score of what I do. I'm not going to reread off like 3-day, but the few major points that I do have written down is consciousness being put into your efforts. Consciousness being put into your efforts. Your consciousness is keeping score of what you do and don't do. And like I said earlier, I feel like 2 is kind of like that beginner's luck. It's giving you a suggestion, like, hey, try this and you can probably get to these results. And then you try, you succeed. 3 is like, okay, you can keep going this way, you can keep going with your old pattern. Either way is going to take work to get there, but it's about what do you want to work towards. Work towards keeping going the same, work towards a new set of possibilities, a new set of situations, a new set of way of thoughts, thinking. And I wanted to harmonize with that newness. And so I did. And I noticed the back of my head, I can't remember, kind of just keeping score of what I do and don't do. So let me go ahead and tackle that fear. Let me go ahead and not waver to it. And not waver to it. Let me go ahead and I know I'm gonna regret not fixing my fear in this situation. So even if I initially was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it, back of my head, ooh, I'm gonna regret this later. Let me go face that fear now, so I won't have to regret that later. And even, because sometimes it did get me where I was like, yeah, maybe not. The next, I thought about that, I'm probably gonna regret that later. The next chance I had to face my fears, I went ahead and took that. So I can have the ratio of me facing my fears was higher than me not facing my fears. So yeah, that was pretty much my 3-day. I hope I was able to hit on all the points I couldn't yesterday. But everything happens for a reason, so I'm not gonna sit here and dwell on the fact that that footage is gone. It is what it is. I have pretty good memory when it comes to my days and being observant of the themes of the day and what goes on and what those situations that cause me to think of the themes of the day. And yeah, I'm recording this on a 4-day, so now I'm going to really watch what I do, because it's all about moving slow. Even yesterday, I had the themes of, I even said I need to slow down and I need to be slow. This morning, I said I need to slow down and be slow. I was moving too fast, trying to get my footage to upload. And had I just thought strategically about what I'm doing, I could have had the footage. But we're not gonna go on a coulda, woulda, shoulda. We're here now. And so moving forward, that plane is loud. Moving forward, I'm going to take things slow and be in the process. All right, now I gotta go record 4-day about how I just had this realization re-recording for 3 days. This is not gonna happen again. That's not gonna happen again. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for sitting with me as I retell my 3-day in the next day. And as always, much gratitude.